All right, speaking of crazy takes and the insanity around video games, Concord was that game in 2024. God. It was a massive flop, 10 days on the market after hundreds of millions of dollars of investment into this game.
And Craig had the collector's market cornered.
Speaking of.
Here we go. Not again.
Yes!
If anybody has any interest right now in making an offer for these two wonderful limited edition Concord PlayStation 5 titles,
you should do an arts and crafts with them.
What am I going to do? No. These are collector's items. Look at this. Look at how.
Well, listen, maybe one of them can be a collector's item, but the other one, maybe you should do some arts and crafts with it or something.
No. You have
Take some crazy glue and figure shit out.
Look, here's the best thing about it, Blabs, is we have one that's fully secure and another one that has the disc.
Oh, there we are.
Loosen it. So
there we go.
Anyways, hit me up if anybody has any interest in picking up Concord. I think the market's dried up a little bit, but anyways. Speaking of dried up, let's go to Forbes with this story here. Paul Tossi says, has Concord scared Sony straight on its PlayStation Live service ambitions here?
Be about the only thing straight at Sony these days. Good times.
This was an interesting article because it goes into the live service side of things, and it doesn't address why people didn't buy Concord to begin with. Like when it comes to the games media, it's like they put their fingers in their ears and they go, no, not happening. And that's what we're seeing here with this. It's all about the live service thing. And yes, that may have played a role in it, but I've said this once, I've said this a million times. If you don't have a reason for people to come inside your store, they're not going to buy anything. And that was the case with Concord. You have characters who look like our thumbnail today. You have characters that look like this. Like nobody wants to play the character with the fupa running around and shooting people.
It just also had really bad gameplay. Like, sure, okay, if the graphics aren't so great, usually like the gameplay will hopefully make up for it and you can ignore it. But no, the gameplay was shit, the graphics were shit, and you had the bonus of DEI. I will say though, props to Sony for making a original IP and not ruining something else, right? Because that's what we all say, make something new. And they went out there and did it. Unfortunately, they did it the wrong way because they threw in all that DEI and other crap in it. So it's like, oh.
Well, and now they're talking about launching the PS6 in 2027. That's the big rumor.
Right. Yeah.
Which means how long were they dicking around with garbage like this when they could have been making sequels to games people want or new IPs that people actually want instead of multicolor coiffed, wokesters and stuff like this nonsense. It's just...
I'm amazed to see.
You need a game attached first off. It's kind of like what we talked about earlier, right? It's like a porn game, but for politics, right? It's like woke porn,
right?
There's no game attached.
If Concord does actually go in, regardless of why, well, no, I can't say regardless of why. I was going to say regardless of why Sony figured out they need to have a course correction when it comes to investing $500 million into a video game, right? But it does matter. Why? Because if they do think it falls on the live service side of things, then that's an error on their side. Because once again, you got to keep people in your store. If Sony doesn't recognize that, then that's on them again, and they will probably fail again because it goes back to people enjoy looking at pretty things. That's human nature. It is what it is. Sorry, not sorry. I hope that they've learned. I've hoped that they've been quote unquote scared straight. I don't know. Am I hopeful? Sure. Am I doubtful? Yeah, kind of. Because I think at the end of the day, you got a lot of moving parts here, and you still have, going back to the doc clip, you still have people in PR, in communications, in executive positions, that stuff is valued to them, and they're going to continue to push that based off their personal agenda. And ultimately, that personal agenda does find its way into games based off of someone in middle management or whatever it may be. We can only hope.
Can we just take a minute to realize that this year the PlayStation 5 turns 5? Isn't that insane?
The PlayStation 5 is 5 years old?
This year. It launched in November 2020. So in a couple months, it'll be 5 years old. I literally just Googled this just to make sure I wasn't going insane.
Yep. Series X and PS5. 5 years old.
Isn't that insane? Like, time has flown by, and how many exclusives does the PlayStation 5 have?
How many do either of them? Well, I guess Xbox has exclusives. They're just
There
bad
is no
ones.
such thing as exclusives anymore.
Right.
Because unless you're Nintendo.
It's
But yeah.
the choice between PS5 and Series X is the choice between no exclusives and bad exclusives.
Isn't that just insane, though? That, like, the PlayStation 5 is 5 years old this year.
That is balls crazy. Here's your list of exclusives from Tech Radar. Stellar Blade.
But Stellar Blade isn't even exclusive anymore because it's going to be on Steam. Is it not already? I could have sworn it was already on Steam.
I want to double check that. I'll say this, like, if Astrobot's great. If 15 games is all you can pack up after 5 years of having a console.
Oh, it's not on Steam yet.
You're not there. You're not there. You know, you're definitely not there. And Demon Souls, like, it's a remake. You know, Last of Us 2 remastered.
I am glad about the Demon Souls remake because a lot of people didn't play it back in the day. But
yeah, well, that's crazy. 5 years of the PlayStation 5. It's like it's the most popular console that I don't know anybody who owns. Right?
True, man. I cited one in the wild one time. It was just a dude. What he was like, so I'm driving by and his house is right there near the curb, is like suspiciously near the curb, and he's getting out of his car and he's got a loose PS5 in his hands. So I don't know what happened here. He bought it used or something. And that is to date, that's the only PS5 I've seen in the wild of the last 5 years.
Okay. And this is crazy to think about. Total PlayStation 5 sold globally as of January 1st, as of today.
Yeah.
As of today, total sales. Let's play the Price is Right game. How many millions of PlayStation 5s have been sold globally? Blabs, we'll start with you.
Oh, millions? You know,
Yes,
I'm just going to do the 5. 5 million. I'm going to go with the 5, with the 5, with the 5.
It's way more than that.
Yeah, I know. I want to be optimistic.
Wait, you think 5 million PlayStation 5s have been sold, Blabs?
I'm there just trolling. We'll see. I'm telling you, I'm going with the 5, with the 5, with the 5.
She's adjusting for inflation. Don't worry about it, Craig.
Razor, what about you?
Oh, gosh. 50 million? I don't know.
You both undershot it.
Really?
Blabs, yeah, 65.5 million PlayStation 5s have been sold worldwide.
Damn, that's a lot of people buying them a giant brick. Anyway.
Right. I said on an early episode of, like, I remember an early episode that I did of side scrollers. Like, it was the PS5 was proof that, like, Sony could just put a spring-loaded fist in a box, in a PlayStation box, that just immediately punched you right in the dick, and it wouldn't matter as long as there was a PS5 logo on it. That's kind of what this generation proves. It never had games. The games that it did have weren't that great, or they were remakes. But people still bought it because it was called a PlayStation. It's like, I think Sony found the floor for their consoles at this point. Okay, X number of 65 million people will buy our console regardless, whether we have games or not.
Yeah.
It's valuable information to have, honestly.
No, 100%. It will sell millions and millions of copies just because it says PlayStation on it.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, where Nintendo will eventually get with their
right.
You know, Switch 3, Switch 4, Switch 5, whatever it may be, however many they decide
So
to
I
go.
want to do like a little mini update since I thought Stellar Blade was already on Steam. It's not, but they don't even have a release date. They just say sometime in 2025.
Coming soon, yeah.
Coming soon. So no longer an exclusive.
It won't be eventually now.
And once again, that's what Nintendo does, what the others don't. Nintendo sticks to their guns. You will not find a Mario on another console. You know, you may find it on the iPhone, but it's a game specifically for the iPhone, you know, a Dr. Mario or a Mario Kart Go or whatever, Mario Run Go or whatever the hell they called it. You know, these games are developed specifically for that. They keep the value of their brand.